yeah, 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 look, ball player, no watching from the side. Said that you got him next, well go ahead and show him why. No limits in the sky, go ahead and take your shot. This one is for the city, let's show him how we rock. Coaches used to call my phone, what you doing, just got home.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Up Next, where we tell you who's up next in the world of youth sports. Today, we got a few special guests here. But first, of course, I'm Jamal Murphy, and I got my co-host, the extraordinary co-host, Khalid Green in the house. What's up, man?
Yes, sir. Peace. Peace to the Christ the King family, too, man. They in the building, man.
I see.
The legacy is on our show, man. I'm honored.
Christ the King been doing it for a long time, man. On both sides, men and women. So
Yes, sir. And you know what? It's only fitting because we had Epiphany Prince on here a few weeks ago, and she was shouting out Murray Bertram. So I said I immediately had to call Coach and tell him I had to bring some Christ the King smoke on here, man. So here we are, man.
Yeah, she took Epiphany definitely took a couple shots. You know, she said she wanted to go to Christ the King, but since she didn't go, she had to kill him for like 40 or 50. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, like we said, we have some great guests today. It's the Christ the King family here in Queens, New York. For people who don't know, we're gonna start with the head JV coach and assistant varsity coach, Sherrod Tomlinson. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having us, Jamal and Khalid. Really appreciate this platform and the ability to have us here to talk about, our school, the history, and, the great things happening there.
No doubt. And we also have four of your players at Christ the King. Let me go down. We'll start with the freshmen. We have two freshmen. One is Sienna Olivares, and she was recently chosen to be a part of the WNBA NBA Game Growers Program. We'll just shout that out.
Congratulations.
No doubt. And we have Inara Coles, is another freshman at Christ the King. And then two juniors. One's Sanaya Glenn, ESPN Top 50 2022, and Juliana Laguna, another junior at Christ the King who has already committed to Army. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to all of you girls doing your thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good stuff. So, Coach, let me start with you. You mentioned that, and you just mentioned the history of Christ the King. I mentioned it. You guys, have been a force for a long time. Nationally, but of course in New York City and in Queens in particular. Just give people a little brief history lesson on Christ the King, at least in the time that you've been there.
So since I've been back there, I've never really left. So
okay.
I coached, so I played there in 97 to 01, then came back to coach on the boys side with Artie Cox. After that, went on to, work at a university and then coach college for 5 years. And so over the last 4 years, I've been back on the girls' side, thanks to Coach Bob Mackey and Joe DeLuca, who've had me back. And it's been a blast. We've had, back in 2018, a great ride and winning the State Federation Championship. And so we've been fortunate to really do some great things over there. A lot of young ladies just come in and work hard and get the work done every day. And I really feel it's the culture that's built, not just on the boys' side, but on the girls' side, of hard work and discipline and creating the right culture for your kids to succeed. Not all the hoopla and the bells and whistles, but also just making sure that they're doing the right thing, getting it done on the court and off the court. So we were fortunate, like I said, back in 2018 to win the State Federation Championship. And then, we graduated a great class of kids in 2018 with 4 going Division I. And then last year, Natalia Marshall graduating and being an All-American and now playing at Notre Dame.
Talk about that culture, coach, because I gotta reveal it, man. I'm a purple and gold guy, man. It's in my blood. All right, so this is I had to get my stuff out before this all went down. I'm good now. All right, Musa. All right, so what about the culture of Christ the King? Because it is a championship culture. I mean, we had a football player on our show. He's going to Christ the King. What is it about that winning culture? What is the formula? You don't have to tell us everything because I might take some stuff back to Ed, but tell us about a couple of little tips that goes into your culture. What is the formula?
Yeah, I think it starts with the people who are leading the programs. You know what I'm saying? And so Joe Arbitello and Bob Mackey have been doing it for a long time, but it's the staffs that they surround themselves with. There's no head coach that can do it by themselves. And, Joe DeLuca and I are fortunate to assist Mackey in what he does and what we do. And it starts with a lot of preparation. I don't think people really understand all the time, it's not just about having the best kids. And there's been years we haven't had the most talented kids, but we watch tons of game tape. And we break down game tape. We sit in the office and watch it together, or, we're communicating about different things. It's strategizing. And it's building a culture, one that's about discipline, of being on time. We're not, dealing with excuses, and we're going to challenge you. So in practice, and they can tell you, we'll stop practice and we'll correct and break it down. And it's about teaching more so than it is just rolling the balls out and saying, okay, go ahead and play, you know what I'm saying? And so, some programs, kids are only prepared for that level. Right. And our focus is on preparing these young ladies, and even on the boys' side, preparing those young men for college and life beyond that.
Right. Let me ask the girls, let me start with the juniors. Just what has Christ the King meant for you? Particularly on the basketball side of things, how has it, changed your game or improved your game? I'll start with Sanaya.
Well, going to Christ the King in general changed me a lot. I'm from Staten Island, so the school that I was at wasn't really as diverse. It was mostly, one race. And since I went to Christ the King, I'm more cultured. I learned a lot more. I'm more confident. I'm more mature since I have to travel back and forth. And it helped me on and off the court with my grades and on the court. Jules, your turn.
How about you, Juliana?
Last year I transferred into Christ the King my sophomore year, and I wasn't able to play. But just watching the coaches and seeing how they respond to the girls and how they really just talk to us and explain things to us. Sorry. It really allowed me to learn, because there are things that I feel you could hear it, but you have to see it in order to actually understand what they're trying to say. And they, what Coach Sherrod said, that they're able to they develop us. They don't have the most talented players, but they really put their time into developing us, and that's why we're a winning program. And I'm proud to be a Christ the King Royal.
Hold up 1 second. They don't have the most talented players. We talk about Shamika Holtzclaw. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
The myth is this, though. I will say the myth is that every year is this rolling of talent. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and even what I've been talking about to different CYO coaches or parents or AAU programs, is that, listen, we're not just looking for your best, we don't just want the best kids there. It's about developing these kids.
Right.
And I feel like in youth sports now, and Sienna and Inara can talk about this a little bit, even with the AAU practices, it's not just, hey, we're going to go play games every weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's about, hey, how do we develop kids and allow them to understand being invested in their development and craft. You know what I'm saying? Yes, over the years, we have been fortunate to have the Shamiquas, the Subers, the Karim Gays, the Lauren Dixons, you know
Yeah,
what I
come
mean?
on,
Those
come
of the
on.
world. If you're watching, yeah. So we were looking at that wall in the school with those state and city
Oh,
championships.
it's
Uh-oh.
real.
You
It's
know what I'm saying?
real.
So you
I
know,
wanted this. I needed this right here.
you know, we've been fortunate to have some talent roll through the building. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know, at the end of the day, it's also about sacrifice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you talk about culture, it's about sacrifice. So
Right.
you know, Jules and Sanaya are two of the top kids in their class,
Right.
hands down. I don't care what anybody says across this country. But even with that, they've had to learn sacrifice. Sanaya, talk to them about being a freshman on the varsity with the crew that you play with.
Mm.
It was hard. Usually I'm in a team that I'm already set, you know, I'm the star of the team. I come over here and it's 5 big people already starting, you know, already know what college they're going to, D1, all that fun stuff. And I had to start at JV at first, and I had to build my way up. And it was a learning experience. It was great. I was 6 man. It was hard sticking with them at practice and everything during the games, and they telling me what to do and all that stuff, treating me as a freshman as they should. But it was a great experience. I would do it again.
And I heard, I read some articles on you tonight where you're one of the most athletic guards out there. Are you dunking yet? Are you close to it? Is that the goal?
I am close to dunking. I touch rim like, I touch rim on a good day. I can touch rim on a good day.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm trying to build up that dunking now.
Okay. Well, tell me how that feels, because at 5'6", I never had that experience, man, unless it was a 7-foot Nerf ball.
Well,
But that's
the
neither here
first
nor
time
there.
I touched rim, it was by accident. So I was in gym, you know, at Christ the King. I was playing with my friend, and we were just doing rim touches. And
Right.
I got up there, and I touched it with the back of my hand, like right here.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I just touched rim. I was like, oh, I just touched rim. He was like, no, you didn't. And I did it again. He was like, oh my gosh, you can touch rim. But that day, I was really hyper.
Nice.
So that was like the adrenaline talking. But on a good day, I could touch rim.
Nice.
Oh, great stuff.
What about the other two ladies?
Yeah, well, to the freshmen, you know, talk about, you know, why you chose Christ the King. What made you want to go there? We'll start with Sienna.
Well, my uncle, he was like really like engaged in Christ the King and like the teams with the boys. So it was like encrusted in me to go to King. And I like my first year, it was in the 4th grade. I went to Christ the King camp, and like I knew this is where I belonged. I knew this is like ever since I was younger. I told my father, Dad, I'm going to Christ the King. I don't care what you tell me. I'm going to Christ the King. And I used to attend games very often, and like I see the way the girls pick each other up when they fall, and the way like they encourage each other to do better. I'm like, I need to be somewhere. I need to be there because that's the way I'm only gonna get better. And it like sisterhood, I saw that at games, and I was like, I need to be there.
So basically, it's a program that recruits it. Like it is a magnet for quality players.
Yeah, and I never saw one essential good player, though they all contribute, and it just made everything look so like perfect. So I'm like, I just felt like Christ the King was the best place for me because I see girls like Sanai and Laguna, they just work together, and it just looks so great on the court.
Well, I must say, I've been at camp with Bob Mackey, and Bob Mackey is a hellified leader. So I'm not surprised by anything I'm hearing right now. I know Bob, he's one of the best coaches, men or women, out there. And I've always, from afar, admired and respected Christ the King girls in particular. They're like the high school version of UConn, quite honestly. So none of this that I'm hearing is surprising.
How about you, Anar? What made you choose Christ the King?
Okay, so I chose Christ the King because my sister used to go there. She graduated 2016. So like ever since I was like little, she was just like, I don't know, like I was just proud to like see her play, and it was so inspirational.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, Coach, let me go back to you. Looks like you got a lot of talent this year. You said you got two of the best players in the country as juniors. What's your expectations this year as far as the team and these players?
Yeah, I think this year, granted with COVID, we'll be able to get on the floor. I think we make a solid run again back at, the States. These young ladies, we also have some other freshmen who came in and some sophomores and a junior who got some good learning experience last year. I think they, with what they've experienced individually, even in the AAU seasons, but also their commitment to their development, will make a solid run at it. Last year, it's funny because you come off of winning the state championship and everybody expects you just to repeat, you know what I mean? And we had a tough year last year, but it was a great learning experience. And, we did really well against some national competition, and it helps us. I think playing the schedule that we play, whether we have one of them talented teams like you're talking about, or we're somewhere in the middle, I think taking our teams, whether it's to Arizona or South Carolina to play against national competition and then coming back and playing locally, it only prepares us for February and March. It's not about, we're not having a good year, so let's duck competition. No, there's no ducking here. And I think all these young ladies understand that when you come to a school as such, right, just like on the college level with Kentucky or Duke, one of the things I heard Calipari say to his teams is, I can't hide you, right? If you're here, the lights are on and you got to perform. And that's one thing we talk about with them. Even when, they're looking at what school they want to come to, it's like, hey, this is what it's about. It's a full commitment. And oftentimes, especially youth today, I'm not sure they understand the full commitment that is necessary to be as great as they want to be. And so reality versus the work, reality versus their goals, sometime in the middle, that work ethic, there's something missing there. And I think it's important that we teach them, whether it is from reality now to basketball goals or reality now to career goals, there's a work ethic that takes place in between there to reach from point A to point B.
Absolutely. Well said. Did you hear what else he said, Jamal?
What?
Most coaches mention city champs or city championships. The first thing this coach mentioned was state champs. I just wanted to bring that to the light too.
Yeah, not league champs, not division champs,
not BQ champs, state champs.
You know why? And it's funny because we joke about this all the time. Like, so in the PSAL, if you win the city champs, right, and you go to the Garden or Barclay, it's like you get a ticker tape parade, right? The city is behind it, everybody's behind it.
Right.
In the Catholic school, especially on the girl side, because on the girl side, you got to win BQE champs to play the city champs, then to play the state champs, and then the federation, right? And even at federation, you got to win 2 games in order to be crowned federation, right? So on the boys side, though, in the CHSAA, even if you lose the BQE championship, you still get another opportunity to play in the intersectional.
Right.
So we love the fact that we can win the Brooklyn Queens. But for us, it's always like, if we don't win states or not, you look at the trophy, we won the city, we've won the state. But if we don't win the state, if we don't win the federation, then it seemed like we have not had a successful year.
Right.
And so what we talk about to these young ladies every day is, where will we be at the end of March?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you said, it's like UConn. It's like, you think UConn cares about a Big East championship?
This is how the Yankees talk, by the way. All right. This is that big talk. This is why we brought them on.
Coach, you mentioned COVID, which I wasn't thinking, like, wow, like there's this whole situation going on, COVID. We're actually going through this is supposed to be actually the worst period coming up, like now, fall and winter. I mean, do you think you're going to be able to play? And how do you keep these girls in proper shape and still playing and all that during this time?
So I hope we're able to play. I think as we're looking at college football, we're seeing different spikes. You know what I'm saying? The SEC and ACC thought they were guaranteed to go through this without any situations. We all see that's not true.
Right.
I think it's about educating these young ladies first about their responsibility to keep themselves safe outside of their time in the gym. And then if they continue to do that, we position ourselves to have a successful season. In regards to practices, we've started some preseason conditioning, and just, having them do individual work on their own. And I think those are some key things, right? So it's about, I think one thing COVID taught us, and most times people say, oh, New York City kids aren't in the parks anymore, things of that nature. COVID taught us that, if we create the platform or you teach them that there's nothing wrong with the park. More ACLs are torn in gyms than they are in the park, right?
Right.
We all, the three of us, gentlemen, we grew up playing in parks, right?
Absolutely.
So you stayed in the park, you did that. And I think over this past couple of months, these young inner city kids have been able to see that, hey, there's nothing wrong with going to the parks. They're a great place to play. And I don't need a trainer, number one, and I don't need a gym in order to work on my craft. I need a ball and a basket to perfect my craft.
Right.
No doubt.
Coach, talk about your, well, you know what? Let me ask some of the ladies. Sanaya, or the upperclassmen. Let's start with the upperclassmen. Talk about the national schedule that you guys play. Like, how does that bring out the best of you, and what matchups have really intrigued you where you left saying, oh, I have to get better? Like, talk about that experience.
Jules, you want to go first?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's an amazing idea to be able to play on a national level, because one thing for, like, I'm a pretty competitive person in general, and I like to, like, scout on my own and see, like, what other girls my age or even older or younger are, like, who's good, who do I have to, like, watch out for, who do I have to, like, compare myself with, to, like, see, like, what I should work on, what, like, how I should continue to, like, better myself. So I think it's a really good idea that we go when we play a national schedule, and you see, like, as a team, like, how you click together and how, like, well you could play together with each other. So
to piggyback what Jules is saying, playing a national schedule, you play other girls, you play other competition. My AU team's on the East Coast, and I usually play the same people over and over again. My league, you keep on playing the same people over and over again, and playing on national schedule allows you to, see girls on the West Coast, see girls Midwest, Texas, California, all that different areas, and just seeing how everybody comes together just for basketball is really amazing. Like Jules said, I'd be scouting, seeing what these upperclassmen are doing, these lowerclassmen, how I could work on my game. And yeah, basically traveling nationally is a really good idea to me.
When you're, what's the competition level like outside of New York? Like, when you leave New York, are you surprised by how good other people are, or is New York enough in terms of competition?
Of course, come on.
New York is still good, but going other places, these girls be eating different type of food.
They're tall,
especially Texas. Those girls are big. They're big and tall. So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, you really get to see. I was saying you really get to see, like, how, like, because usually when you think of New York, it's like the hub of basketball. And a lot of people, because a lot of good players have come out of New York, I guess, and they think, like, oh, this is the place to be if you want to play basketball. But, like, there are other places around, like, the country that they do also. There are other powerhouses that produce good players.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. And in New York, I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of distractions.
Right.
And then the other girls, it's eat, breathe, basketball. Like, that's all they do.
Right.
And, New York has, crazy stuff going on, blah, blah. But, other places, it's just basketball.
Right.
And the beautiful thing too is, I mean, they're in high school, so they've traveled that. But I think now with like the Made Hoops League and things of that nature, younger kids, middle school kids, have had the opportunity to kind of travel that and see it. And when we started, we're talking a little about high school and AAU with the Wrens, and Nora and Sienna came over to play with us. And so throughout this past winter, they had a chance to kind of see some of their peers and the competition in that middle school bracket age group, where like, a couple years ago, like who was thinking about taking middle school kids on weekends to go travel to Boo Williams and all these other places to play. So I think it's good. It was a benefit for them also.
Yeah, talk about that, Anara. So you're fresh to Christ the King. So you are also fresh off the middle school scene. So I'm sure you played in the Rose Classic and like Coach said, made hoops. How has that prepared you as a player for the Christ the King experience?
It prepared me because like ever since I started playing for AAU for Rennes, it was very competitive, but like it made me more aggressive and like able to like play for, high school. Yeah.
Okay. Sanaya, you look like you have something to say about this Rennes thing. I know you're a Lady Bell. Do we have anything you want to contribute to this conversation?
I have nothing to say. Just saying, if you guys ever play against us, we're losing by 50.
Oh, wow.
A 50 piece with biscuits? Is that what we were calling this?
That's all I gotta say.
Nah, the good thing is we have middle school. We don't have a high school program yet, so they'll
They're
never
ducking
be that
smoke.
level of
They're ducking
competition.
smoke.
Sienna, jump in here, Sienna.
We're getting ready for all those big. We're getting ready. The Wrens, we're on the come up. We're getting ready.
Sienna, I feel you. I hear it. I hear it in your voice.
And the beautiful thing too about this is, it's kids coming from different backgrounds and areas. You know what I'm saying? And talking about culture, right?
Right.
So when kids come to Christ King, we never talk about their AAU affiliation, things of that nature. It's solely about what we're doing then at that time, right?
Right.
And I think it's important for kids to be able to lock in and focus during the high school season. And if you ask me personally, which one would I rather coach? I would take high school over AAU any day, because yes, the travel is good in the AAU circuit, that's good, but the ability to develop kids 6-7 days out of the week for that 2-hour span, it's priceless. Where AAU sometimes, it's not just come down, pick and roll, or we're gonna press because we don't have any sets in, that type of stuff, or we're just practicing 1 day a week. With high school, you're in the gym, maybe 13 days out of a 14-day span. And so we'll come back off of a trip in South Carolina, get back Christmas Eve, take 2 days off, and we're back in the gym. So it's no different than their college experience or what they're going to have. And it's funny because, we'll talk to our college kids and we'll say, hey, how's college going? And it's this experience that has prepared them for that level of competition. And not just the competition, but the overall experience.
Absolutely.
Coach, let me ask you, you mentioned you've been involved in the girls game and the boys game. I'm wondering what you think the difference is at your level, but also, what is like the last 5 years or so of the girls game. I look at it now, it just seems to be we're like right on the cusp of it really taking off. Like, you know what I'm saying, to being something that a lot of people thought it would never be. So just talk about the girls game, the difference, and where you think it is now.
I think the girls game is doing a great job of growing. I think the more support that the girls game has from gentlemen like yourself who have been on the men's side and doing the things that you're doing, it'll only continue to increase. I think what the WNBA has done, what Nike has done to invest in these young ladies has been tremendous. And so what I see as far as where it's going, it's a great thing, because also you have WNBA players that are now using their voice to reach back. Right. You know what I mean? Like Sue has been back into school. Shamiqua's been back into school. But then across the board in the WNBA, they're encouraging these young ladies to not only continue to play, but talking to them about the right thing. And I think when you have that from the pro level down, it makes a big difference. What do I see as the difference in being on both sides? You know, people always ask me, hey, what's the difference in coaching, you know, guys and girls? And really, it's part of it is just the emotion of it. But I feel like you cannot, you got to teach the game the same way. The game is the game, right? And so you can't cheat the game. You have to give them that full experience. And so the same way I would, you know, challenge them or prepare them in practice is the same way I would if I was coaching on the boys' side. I think, you know, how you do it and how you come across is a little bit different, because also there's a different emotion level that comes with this, right? And so that's the biggest difference. And, you know, when I first started coaching college at the, you know, at the college level, I mean, when I first started coaching young women, it was at the college level. And so, you know, I started a program at a school I was working at here in the city. And, you know, those 5 years, I would, they were priceless years because you got a chance to not just provide an opportunity and a platform, but also begin to help young ladies that were, you know, pretty much not given a second chance in other places. And so coaching the women's game, you know, although there's not the dunks and the alley-oops and things of that nature, there's a lot of beauty to the women's game that I think a lot of people take for granted. And, you know, I think the bubble allowed people to see how great, like even Sue Bird is and other people to see like, hey, after being in the league for 17 years and, you know, putting your body through all of that stuff, like she, you know, is still the GOAT, and be able to perform at that high level. But I think it's how you come across to these young ladies and understand that they deserve opportunities too. You know what I mean? You know, the whole thing of what, not just, you know, from the standpoint of gear, but access and opportunity. And one of the things that we've been fortunate to do is have partnerships with the WNBA, with Gatorade, where they have come and provide opportunities for these young ladies to go to luncheons with WNBA players. Gatorade is, we're the Gatorade high school, I believe, in the country, but definitely in the Northeast region. And they used us in their commercial that they did. I think so those opportunities will help these young ladies later on in life. And now we also are working with the Women's Sports Foundation, who will come and work with these young ladies and talk to them about the women's empowerment and what it all means to be empowered as young women. Nice.
Who has been the biggest rivalry in the past few years for Christ the King program?
St. Francis. Yeah, St. Francis, and also at this Ossining, you know. So we've had a few. St. Francis, Ossining, not really Lehigh.
Is this St. Francis from Brooklyn? I mean, from
St.
Queens?
Francis Prep in Queens. Yep.
Yeah. Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They you know, even in 2018, 2017, they gave us a run. We were fortunate to beat them during those years. And then over the past, you know, couple years, they've given us a run. So, you know, it's been good competition.
Now, when you say they're giving you a run, have they beaten you?
No.
So it's not a rivalry. This past
year they beat us.
Okay.
This past year they beat us. But, you know, other than that, you know, I would say, you know, they've kind of taken us to – we've met them in the Brooklyn Queens Championship.
They've competed.
So even – yeah, they competed. Yeah. So,
and Ossining is pretty good?
Ossining, they had Adrian Griffin's daughter, Aubrey Griffin, who's now at UConn. And so the year we won states, we had to beat a powerhouse Lehigh team with Celeste Taylor. And then we also had to beat Ossining with Aubrey Griffin in the finals. So, you know, and that kid was averaging 40 a game, you know what I'm saying? And so talking about preparation and things of that nature, we held it to like maybe 20 something. It was just collaborative effort to be able to get that win. And so actually Sanaya is a federation champion in her freshman year. And so we hope to get her 2 more before she leaves in these next 2 years.
So I have a question. Sanaya, this is for all of you. You're playing Ossining or St. Francis. All right, you're in game mode. Give me 2 artists from your playlist that you put on to put you in that mode.
Okay, I'll go first. Pop Smoke, without a doubt. Right now, these
Yeah.
past few games, Pop Smoke.
God bless the dead.
And
Okay. Can I have a plate?
I don't know who
Mama,
else.
hold on, Mama. Wait. Okay.
I don't know probably like she gone. But probably like, not gonna lie, Little TJ. I'm a Little TJ fan.
Little TJ, Pop Smoke, Little TJ.
I love Little TJ.
Okay, I know nothing about Little TJ. Mama, what's up?
Hey.
Mama, we need plate for everybody next time. You're not being fair right
next
now.
time. You know I got extra, but next time.
Okay.
Next time. I got you.
All right. Okay, so Little TJ and Pop Smoke. Okay. Recorded. Who's next?
I'll go. Well, like Sanaya said, Pop Smoke. You never go wrong with some Pop Smoke. Some Throwback Dreams and Nightmares with Meek Mill.
Okay.
To get me
Okay.
started.
I'm a fan of you, Sienna. All right.
No, I agree with Sienna too. Quite honestly, like I like a little throwbacks thrown in there. But Pop Smoke is it.
Hold up, Juliana. You're gonna get one more because you're going to the army, so you're gonna need a little more. You committed to the army, and we got to get into that. So we're gonna have to give you 2 more songs because for what you about to endure. So go ahead.
I don't honestly, because I'm not big into like certain artists. It's more just like whatever like the beat like sounds good to me. I guess I'm that type of person.
Okay. All right.
But,
Okay, Pop Smoke, of course, and A Boogie.
A Boogie.
Okay.
All right. They need to send us checks for this commercial, but we'll deal with that later.
Pop Smoke is killing it.
Yeah, Pop Smoke is. Yeah. Shout out to Brooklyn and Canarsie.
Yeah. Coach, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit about the girls we have on right now. Could you describe each one of their games for us? I've seen a few highlights, but just to get the real coach's perspective.
Yeah, I'll start with the freshman. Nara is athletic, great defender, gets in the lane, shoots the 3 at a consistent pace, and is growing and learning. Sienna is a player who is one of those players who at a young age is used to playing the post, right? You get a strong kid, they put him on the post. And so when you start playing against higher levels of competition, you have to become more flexible. And so she's learning how to, the versatility of her game and bringing out different skill sets that weren't tapped into before. And so, she's learning becoming more confident handling and playing on the perimeter, where before, it was like, hey, go on the box and try to bully some kid to the basket. Right. Julie Laguna, you're going to get that Army grit with her. When it comes to Laguna, it's grit. When I saw Jules in the 7th and 8th grade, I was very high on Laguna because I felt that she is going to give you her best at both ends. Shoots the ball at a high volume, handles the ball well, is a talker, right? So for me, and Sanai can tell you, I am the defensive guy on the staff. And so if we're not talking, we're not doing it right.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like, that's how you frustrate offenses, by talking. And Jules is the talker. She's a leader. Phenomenal young lady. Sanaya,
thanks, Coach.
Sanaya is the transformed Tasmanian devil, right? So much energy. She's got the Lamar Odom candy appetite and diet. And, she has grown so much, you know what I mean? So she shoots the ball at a high volume, great work ethic, handles the ball well, and is becoming more and more of a one-on-one defender, a lockdown defender. Mm-hmm. I think that if there's anywhere in her growth is being able to not get lost on that end of the floor. But, if you put, press-wise, she's all over the place, long arms. And I think that's what gives us a lot of versatility is because we have young ladies who can play multiple positions.
Right.
And it's not just now, even before we've had fortunate to have young ladies who we can put at multiple positions and not lose anything with putting somebody at a position where another coach would be like, she don't belong there.
Right.
So it's about being creative.
Right. Nice.
Let me go back to the girls now. Or let me go to Sanaya, since you're junior. Like I said, top 50. What are we thinking about in terms of the next level, in terms of college?
Right now, like if you're asking me if I'm committing that, like right now, I'm kind of open right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open. I have a lot of schools looking at me from multiple conferences. Yeah, right now I'm just open. Nothing. I'm not closing it anytime soon.
Did you growing up? Did you have a team that you rooted for, or when you were real young, wild dreams of where you wanted to go, anything like that?
So when I was little, I had my whole life planned out. I was gonna go with Christ the King, and I was gonna go to UConn.
Okay.
That was my things. When I was little, my dad has a whole video of me saying that I'm gonna go Christ the King, and I'm gonna go to UConn. But I'm not gonna lie, UConn's still great. They will always be great. But since I'm getting more colleges and all that stuff, other options are looking pretty nice too.
Nice. It's nice to be Sanaya tonight.
And Laguna, you chose to go to Army. What was behind that decision?
Who else was recruiting you?
I mean, I had a few other schools recruiting me, but I just felt that for the lifestyle that I want to live, for like my goals and ambitions, that it would best suit me. And like one thing I value my education so much, and they value their academics as well. So that was a good fit. And just like I said before, lifestyle, the way it would allow me to live really like comfortably after college, I feel like, considering what I want to do when I'm older, and not like always have to worry, am I gonna be in debt at this time? How am I gonna pay this? Like, I'm thinking about the future. So that's why I chose this school.
Do you have family in the military?
Yeah, actually, my brother, he's in the Air Force. And it's a funny story. Earlier in like May this year, I wasn't thinking about going to a military academy. It was just so last minute. But my brother, he enlisted into the Air Force. He's been there for quite a while. And we just took a spontaneous, me, my mom, my little sister, we took a little spontaneous trip down to him to visit. And I saw like how he lives and like his lifestyle and like the way just how they take care of him. And I was like, wow, like that's a good idea for me. And considering like all that I eventually would want to do. And it just got me thinking about it and ended up choosing a school.
Well, congratulations on your commitment.
Yes,
Thank
congratulations.
You. Yeah.
To the freshmen, what about your dreams and aspirations in terms of college? Obviously, you got a long way to go, but like when you look at that level now, is it something you've always thought about? Any like goals that you had of a particular school, which you wouldn't have to stick to, of course, but I'm just curious, like the thought process. We'll start with you, Sienna.
Oof. My heart was set on King, so yeah, I'm at King.
Nice.
Well, I wanted to get out of New York because since I was younger, it's always been so cold. So I was like maybe Los Angeles or maybe somewhere. But like when I'm older, I like to be like a sports analyst for like ESPN and things like that. So I don't know. I've always dreamt on UConn, but I don't know. Let's say if there are certain things I want to major in and maybe UConn doesn't have that. I don't know. But I've always wanted to escape like the cold weather.
Do not blame you. It was brick today.
Word. How about you, Anara?
Okay, so my goal is to play college basketball, like go to a D1 school. And like my whole dream was to be in the WNBA and all of that. But I have like other dreams that I want to accomplish in life as well.
Good stuff. What about to all the girls again, like what about players that you look up to? Whether it be, male, female, NBA, WNBA, college. I'll start with you, Sanaya.
When I was little, college, when Brianna Stewart, I said Sabrina. When Brianna Stewart was in college, I looked up to her all the time. I like study her and everything. Right now, I like Sabrina, but sadly she got hurt and all that stuff.
Right.
And for the boys' side, I am a LeBron fan, obviously, and I like Paul George.
Nice.
You still like Paul George? Okay.
I have to. I'm not gonna.
Why you hating? Why you hating?
Bubble. We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna look at his other years.
Absolutely,
hey, man,
absolutely.
The bubble was tough. The bubble was tough.
The bubble was tough.
Yeah,
it was tough.
It
It messed with him. It messed with him.
No question.
It messed with him mentally.
I got you.
What about you, Juliana?
I mean, from the men's side, I looked up to Kyrie Irving a lot because just his handles and like his game. I don't know. I just really liked it. So I studied him for a little bit. And from the women's side, I mean, Brianna Stewart, like Sanaya said, Brianna Stewart, she was the one that made me like go down to the Bells. It's because I remember I was reading about her and I wanted to see, like, I knew she was from New York, like Syracuse. And I was like, oh, like I wonder where she played AAU. And I found out she played for the Bells for a few years. So I went down there for a workout and I ended up loving it and I played for them for a while. So she was actually the one that inspired me, I guess, to go down there. But more recently, because she doesn't play my position, she's a big, who I really like studied was, I guess, like more guards like Sue Bird, like people that did come out of King.
Okay.
Sienna, who do you look up to?
Well, LeBron. I feel like LeBron can just carry his team on his back and just go whatever who's on his team. If it's just him, he got it. For the girls, maybe Sue Bird, and Kayla McBride from the Lady Aces. Well, with my Game Growers family, like she spoke and like her words just stuck with me. So anytime I watch her, like she brings me back to like my Game Growers, and like her words are so like inspirational. She's so passionate for the game, and when she connects that to the girls, like Kayla McBride, and she's a shooter, so yeah.
How about you, Anara?
Okay, so I've always looked up to LeBron James. You know, he's so inspirational. Everyone loves him. And then Sue Bird was definitely one of my favorite players because, you know, she went to King. Yeah.
Okay. All impressive.
Yep.
Coach, what about the girls' daily routines? We talked about the COVID thing, but in general, what is it? What's the daily, regimen for a player at Christ the King? Like, I mean, it can't be easy.
So a few of them definitely travel at least an hour a day. With the travel, school starts around 8, a little after 8. They're in school till after 2 o'clock. So we get out maybe about 2:30. There's some days we practice at 2:30. If we're not practicing at 2:30, then they're going to study hall. So study hall is not an option. You talk about playing the schedule that we play, and not just nationally, but also with the league. Your games are happening. You're getting out of a game at 7, 8 o'clock at night. You want to make sure that books are handled. So we definitely go through study hall. If they need to meet with a teacher, they do that. Preseason, it's the track, it's CrossFit. We definitely are fortunate to have a partnership with a great guy, Chris, who does some CrossFit stuff with us. And it's, making sure they're taking care of their bodies. And so even in the midst of all of that stuff, it may be, hey, the newspaper's coming in to talk to somebody, or we may have like a think tank with Gatorade or somebody coming in, or just sitting down and talking to them. I mean, I think one of the things we did a couple of years ago was talk to them about branding. And I think, now with the way college is going and the NIL, I think it's important that these young ladies know about personal brand and building their personal brand and how they represent themselves, not just on social media, But also, you know, it starts there on social media. But also now, how do you build your brand and represent yourself, not just for now, but for the rest of your life? So the, you know, day to day, it's the academic piece. You know, basketball. You know, we may have some weightlifting here and there. We really don't hit the weights during the season, but you know, it's definitely, you know, there's always something in there. You know, Coach Joe DeLuca is the master at taking some medicine balls and resistance bands and creating a great experience.
Great for who?
right. And, you know, it's also about taking care of their body. One thing, you know, I'm not a big fan of the training room, but, you know, we definitely have talked to them more about eating habits and things of that nature, nutrition and stuff. We had a team a couple of years ago where they stopped. We would go on the road and say, we're going to Denny's, thinking like, okay, you know, we're going to eat Denny's. And we got 4 kids sitting on the side with their own organic fruit and vegetables. And, you know, they're bringing their own food on the road. And so I was impressed because, you know, that's not me. You know what
impressed
I mean?
and embarrassed, right, Coach?
For real. They in the corner in Denny's, and I'm looking over there like, yo, y'all gonna get us kicked out of here. But, you know, they took total control over their diets and things of that nature. And I feel like, especially for New York City kids, that is one of the most important pieces. You know what I mean? And I wish when I was playing back then, more people were talking about that type of stuff. And you know, especially now, you know, with the mental health things that are going on with kids, I think one of the things that we definitely try to do is create a space for them to know that office door is always available, or just the ability to pull us to the side and have a conversation is available. Because kids need it. They need to talk.
Absolutely.
There's so much pressure on these kids today of D1. And so what if it doesn't happen? You know, I'm a 13-year educator at the higher ed level, and I always say to parents, if your kid don't go D1, they're still going to go to college. So have more, and it's important to educate coaches of that. There are great D2s out there. There are great D3s out there. There are great NAIAs out there. And so it's not all D1 or bust, because many times the Division I kid plays 4 years, has a great 4 years somewhere, and then struggles professionally after that ball drops and the air comes out of it. And the kid that's at the D2, D3 now is the kid with the career opportunities and the mover and the shaker. And so I think we have to do a great job at talking to these young ladies and young men about not just the now, but what happens after. And I think years ago when I heard about the John Thompson story about with the basketball in his office of it being inflated and what it meant, for me, it became very personal to talk to kids about not just about their college experience, but hey, what happens when it's all over? And I think for a long time, and you know, Khalid, I'm sure you can echo this. There were so many people telling kids, "Oh, if you don't make it to the A, you go overseas." And we filled kids' hopes and dreams with lies. And so what we didn't tell them is, hey, you may get picked to go overseas, but if they don't like you in 2 days, you back in America with all your stuff.
Real fast.
And back on your mom's couch. And so if you don't prepare these young men and young women for what happened after the game, then we do them a disservice. Because the reality of it is they will spend more years in a career than they will on the field.
Correct.
No, well said, for sure. You know, on that note, we want to thank you for joining us. This was great, educational, inspirational, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it, Coach Sherrod Tomlinson, the head JV coach and assistant varsity at Christ the King, the great Christ the King.
The powerhouse Christ the King. Say it right. Say it with your chest out. And it's the only time you're getting this out of me, Coach.
Listen, we're on the border of Brooklyn and Queens. So, you know, we run both.
It's the Brooklyn side that I'm giving love to you for.
In fact, when I was in like 8th grade, Christ the King was recruiting me for basketball, and I decided to go to Poly Prep instead, which was good academically, but I think I would have been a better ball player if I'd went to Christ the King.
Was Andreas Pope there when you was there?
No, I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm like in the mid '90s.
Okay. All
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Cool. He was a few years after that. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That's
So,
cool. But no,
yeah.
gentlemen, thank you for having us. Actually, if you could take a moment or two to just give them some inspirational words of, you've both been around the game and seen, like, what advice would you give them as they go through their recruiting processes and, just their high school experience?
Yeah. For me, I would say character is everything. You want to keep as far as the recruiting process, you want to trust those that got you to the dance. And what I mean by that is those that have been in your corner through good and bad are going to always give you the advice that you need. You don't want to surround yourself with people that are yes people. You want to surround yourself with people that check you, hold you accountable, and invite them in the process with you on your recruiting on this recruiting trip. And to echo what Coach said, your dream school might not be your reality school. You want to choose the best school for your situation, because you might have somebody at your dream school that might be there another 2 years, and realistically, you might not want to sit 2 years. So you want to go to the school that best fits your situation, which it seems like Juliana did well. So that's my advice. I used to be an NBA scout. From that perspective, I would just tell you that one thing that people underrate in scouting and evaluating is I did more evaluating on intel than I did on the actual performance of players. And what I mean by that is I went to different sources to ask about the character of different players. And simple questions like, do they love the game? Are they trustworthy? Are they punctual? Are they reliable? So those are the questions I used to ask on a regular, and I used to go to about 4 or 5 different sources to ask these kind of questions to see if I'm getting the truth or I'm getting the company answers. So I would just tell you that, whatever you're doing now as far as your character, and it seems like you guys are doing a great job. I know Coach Wells, so I know the leadership is right. I know Coach Mackey too. I know the leadership is right there. Just continue in that process. And again, I'm not on the girls' side, so Coach knows anytime you guys want to reach out and ask questions, I'm here for you, and my door is always open and extended. Now I'm going to be an associate coach on the girls' side only of Christ the King. On the girls' side only, but they have my help on that. They have my help on that because Coach is my man and he's doing a great job.
Nah, much appreciated, gentlemen. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I co-sign all that. I would say, have fun with it also. I agree with what Coach said earlier about, D1, whether it's D1, D2, or D3. It's about you as a whole, as the total person. I played D3. I was supposed to. I thought I was playing D1 too when I was a freshman, but it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and it seems like you girls are already have kind of mastered that part of it. So I would keep that up. Keep an open mind about places that you're thinking about, and go to a place where you feel like they have you as a whole. They care about the entire you, not just you on the basketball court. Because like Coach said, you're going to spend much more time off the court than you are on the court in the long run. But I'm impressed with everything I've heard and seen so far. So I don't have any doubt that you girls are on the right path.
And it was our honor to have you guys on our show, really. And thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
it.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
No question.
Built the great work.
Yes,
all right. So once again, Sherrod Tomlinson, head coach, head JV coach, and assistant varsity coach, Christ the King. And we had Sienna Oliveris, Anara Coles, Sanaya Glenn, and Juliana Laguna. Thanks all of you for joining us and telling us your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. All right. Good night, ladies. Good night,
Bye.
Coach.
Good night.
Peace.
Good night. There you have it.
There you have it. CTK in the building.
Yeah, Christ the King, you know, as usual, strong program. I'm glad to see you humbled yourself and gave Christ the King their proper acknowledgement in NYC basketball. We know Lachlan tough. Lachlan always been tough too.
Listen, I had to put the capital H in humble on that one. It wasn't easy. All right, I had to go through therapy today for this thing, man.
I hear you. You know,
and I'm happy to have.
We won't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying?
But it was a blessing to have them. They were great guests. I'm looking forward to seeing the young ladies play. Coach Sherrod, you know, he does a great job over there with Coach Mackey. So this has been an honor, like I said, to have them on our show.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So that's another great episode in the books. Continue to listen and subscribe and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, all that. Follow us on Instagram at UpNextPod, Instagram at UpNextPod, and Twitter at UpNext_pod. And keep doing your thing out there in youth sports, and we'll keep looking for you and shouting you out and having you on the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Subscribe, like my partner said, and we appreciate all your support. On to the next.
On to the next. So until next week, we'll see you then.
Peace.